Chapter 2. Plan every day in advance. Planning is bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it now. The quote is by Alan Lekin. You have heard the old question, how do you eat an elephant? The answer is one bite at a time. How do you eat your biggest, ugliest frog? The same way. You break it down into specific step-by-step activities and then you start on the first one. Your mind, your ability to think, plan and decide is your most powerful tool for overcoming procrastination and increasing your productivity. Your ability to set goals, make plans and take action on them determines the course of your life. The very act of thinking and planning unlocks your mental powers, triggers your creativity and increases your mental and physical energies. Conversely, as Alec McIntyre wrote, taking action without thinking things through is a prime source of problems. Your ability to make good plans before you act is a measure of your overall competence. The better you plan you have, the easier it is for you to overcome procrastination, to get started, to eat your frog and then to keep going. Increase your return on energy. One of your top goals at work should be for you to get the highest possible return on your investment of mental, emotional and physical energy. The good news is that every minute spent in planning saves as many as 10 minutes in execution. It takes only about 10 to 12 minutes for you to plan out your day, but this small investment of time will save you up to 2 hours in wasted time and diffused effort throughout the day. You may have heard of the 6P formula. It says, proper prior planning prevents poor performance. When you consider how helpful planning can be in increasing your productivity and performance, it is amazing how people practice it every single day. And planning is really quite simple to do. All you need is a piece of paper and a pen. The most sophisticated Palm Pilot computer program or time planner is based on the same principle. It is based on your sitting down and making a list of everything you have to do before you begin. 2 extra hours per day. Always work from a list. When something new comes up, add it to the list before you do it. You can increase your productivity and output by 25% or more, about 2 hours a day from the first day you begin working consistently from a list. Make your list the night before for the work day ahead. Move everything that you have not yet accomplished onto your list for the coming day and then add everything that you have to do the next day. When you make your list the night before, your subconscious mind will work on your list all night long while you sleep. Often you will wake up with great ideas and insights that you can use to get your job done faster and better than you had initially thought. The more time you take to make written list of everything you have to do in advance, the more effective and efficient you will be. Different lists for different purposes. You need different lists for different purposes. First, you should create a master list on which you write down everything you can think of that you want to do sometime in future. This is the place where you capture every idea and every new task or responsibility that comes up. You can sort out the items later. Second, you should have a monthly list that you make at the end of the month for the month ahead. This may contain items transferred from your master list. Third, you should have a weekly list where you plan your entire week in advance. This is a list that is under construction as you go through the current week. This discipline of systematic time planning can be very helpful to you. Many people have told me that the habit of taking a couple of hours at the end of each week to plan the coming week has increased their productivity dramatically and changed their lives completely. This technique will work for you as well. Finally, you should transfer items from your monthly and weekly list onto your daily list. These are the specific activities that you are going to accomplish the following day. As you walk through the day, tick off the items on your list as you complete them. This activity gives you a visual picture of accomplishment. It generates a feeling of success and forward motion. Seeing yourself working progressively through your list motivates and energizes you. It raises your self-esteem and self-respect. Steady, visible progress propels you forward and helps you to overcome procrastination. Planning a project. When you have a project of any kind, Begin by making a list of every step that you will have to complete to finish the project from beginning to end. Organize the steps by priority and sequence. Lay out the project in front of you on paper or on a computer so that you can see every step and task. Then go to work on one task at a time. You will be amazed at how much you get done in this way. As you work through your list, you will feel more and more effective and powerful. You will feel more in control of your life. You will be naturally motivated to do even more. You will think better and more creatively, and you will get more and better insights that enable you to do your work even faster. As you work steadily through your list, you will develop a sense of positive forward momentum that enables you to overcome procrastination. This feeling of progress gives you more energy and keeps you going throughout the day. One of the most important rules of personal effectiveness is the 10-90 rule. This rule says that the first 10% of your time that you spend planning and organizing your work before you begin will save you as much as 90% of the time in getting the job done once you get started. You only have to try this rule once to prove it to yourself. When you plan each day in advance, you will find it much easier to get going and to keep going. The work will go faster and smoother than ever before. You will feel more powerful and competent. You will get more done faster than you thought possible. Eventually, you will become unstoppable. Eat that frog. Number 1. Begin today to plan every day, week, and month in advance. Take a notepad or sheet of paper and make a list of everything you have to do in the next 24 hours. Add to your list as new items come up. Make a list of all your projects, the big multitask jobs that are important to your future. Number 2. Lay out each of your major goals, projects or tasks by priority. What is most important and by sequence, what has to be done first, what comes second, and so forth. Start with the end in mind and work backward. Think on paper, always work from a list. You will be amazed at how much more productive you become and how much easier it is to eat your frog. Chapter 3. Apply the 80-20 rule to everything. We always have time enough if we will but use it aright. This quote is by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. The 80-20 rule is one of the most helpful of all concepts of time and life management. It is also called the Pareto principle after its founder, the Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto, who first wrote about in 1895. Pareto noticed that people in his society seemed to divide naturally into what he called the vital few, the top 20% in terms of money and influence, and the trivial many, the bottom 80%. He later discovered that virtually all the economic activity was subject to this principle as well. For example, this principle says that 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. 20% of your customers will account for 80% of your sales. 20% of your products or services will account for 80% of your profits. 20% of your tasks will account for 80% of the value of what you do, and so on. This means that you have a list of 10 items to do. 2 of those items will turn out to be worth 5 or 10 times or more than the other 8 items put together. Number of tasks versus importance of tasks. Here is an interesting discovery. Each of the 10 tasks may take the same amount of time to accomplish, but 1 or 2 of those tasks will contribute 5 or 10 times the value of any of the others. Often, one item on a list of 10 tasks that you have to do can be worth more than all the other 9 items put together. This task is invariably the frog that you should eat first. Can you guess on which items the average person is most likely to procrastinate? The sad fact is that most people procrastinate on the top 10 or 20% of items that are most valuable and important, the vital few. They busy themselves instead with the least important 80%, the trivial many that contribute very little to the results. Focus on activities, not accomplishments. You often see people who appear to be busy all day long but seem to accomplish very little. This is almost always because they are busy working on tasks that are of low value while they are procrastinating on the 1 or 2 activities that, if they completed them quickly and well, could make a real difference to their companies and to their careers. The most valuable tasks you can do each day are often the hardest and most complex, but the payoff and rewards for completing this task efficiently can be tremendous. For this reason, you must adamantly refuse to work on tasks in the bottom 80% while you still have tasks in the top 20% left to be done. Before you begin work, always ask yourself, is this task in the top 20% of my activity?